Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Wolfley.
And I'm Tunch Ilkin.
And we are here for the post-game wrap-up for the J&D Waterproofing.
Yeah, and we're at the
Post-game
UPMC
show.
Rooney Sports Complex.
Exactly so.
Right.
Okay, go down to New Orleans. You go into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome.
Right.
And the Steelers do just about everything right until the end.
Right.
And then
right.
things catch up to them.
Well, you know, there were a number of mishaps, but one of the things you got to be encouraged by, is that the Steelers went toe-to-toe with the best team in the National Football League, the New Orleans Saints, in New Orleans, a very hostile place to play. And
by the way, can you hear still?
Yeah, I got a headache. I got a headache. But, you know, one of the things that you realize that the Steelers' offense is as good as anybody's offense in the National Football League. The defense played well. There were a couple of really questionable calls on pass interference on fourth downs that
Joe Hayden.
and resulted in 2 touchdowns. And so one of the things that you could point to and make excuses by, but the one thing I like about Mike Tomlin is he never makes excuses. He's not pointing to that. He said they didn't make enough plays. And Wolf, we came home thinking that as the game was winding down, and everyone's making a big deal about the fourth down and fake punt. That didn't bother me.
No. Matter of fact, I thought it was an aggressive move with solid football reasoning behind it. But the fact is, you're talking about going into that game with a -8 turnover differential, and you come out with a -9.
Yeah.
That's in and of itself. To me, it puts the entire season in its proper perspective.
Right.
When you're on the negative side of that thing, you are already fighting an uphill battle in each and every game.
You know, if you were to synopsize this year, you would say too little, too late. There were so many games that were like that, and the New Orleans Saints were like that. You know, there was the end, the last series, and all of a sudden Juju fumbles. Now you're not putting it on Juju, but the reality of it is when you're driving to tie the game up or possibly win the game in regulation. But it was too little, too late, and because of, as you mentioned, the takeaway giveaway ratio is a -8, and it becomes a -9 on the season. You can't win football games that way.
No question about it.
No matter how good you are.
Exactly so. Now, I got to tell you, I thought the defense acquitted itself well because you're playing against such a high-powered offense. But I thought Ben was terrific. I thought the offensive line, even more so, did a great job. You're talking about the best defensive line in the NFL there.
Right.
And they went toe-to-toe with them. And it was really, I thought, a great job. And then we come to Rosie Nix, and we talk about that faith punt. And again, in my mind, the justification is, just like in '89, when Rod Russ told Chuck Noll after Rod Woodson stripped the ball from Low White and recovered the ball, and we went in an offense and went 3 and out, and he had, Chuck had the choice. Do we punt the ball or do we kick the field goal in overtime here trying to get the win? And Rod Russ, the defensive coordinator, said, Chuck, you better take a kick at it. Go and kick it because right now we can't stop them one more time. Our defense is exhausted.
And I thought Chuck made a great move. He trotted out the punt team. Rod Russ called down he was the defense coordinator, and he was up in the press box, and he called down to Chuck and said, we can't stop them again. Chuck calls timeout, marches Gary Anderson out there, and Gary bangs it for 51 yards.
Exactly so.
And so, one of the things is so much, everyone was saying, oh, you shouldn't do that. That was a terrible call. But so much of the National Football League coaching is gut.
Gut instinct.
And you know what? And Mike Tomlin's very aggressive. He's not going to live in his fears. He made the call. When those calls work, it's a great call. When those calls don't work, it's not such a great call.
And you think maybe from your scouting, you've got a little slight weakness that you can take advantage of. And quite frankly, in my mind, and I know it's not for everybody, but if you punt that ball away, I don't think you see it again.
Right.
If you've got Jordan Berry puts it out into the end zone, it's at the 20. If he gets it knocked down inside the 10, that's great. But you're still talking about Drew Brees having a lot of time at that time. He had 4:11 to go. to be able to just go down the field and matriculate down the field, as Hank Stram would say, and then be able to eat up a lot of clock, and you might never see that ball again.
So it's not over yet.
No.
You know, one of the things, Cleveland is a very hot football team.
Right.
3 in a row. They're going into the Ravens, so they've already beat the Baltimore Ravens. It's like a playoff game.
Right.
And there's a lot of significance to this game. Greg Williams has those guys playing well.
Exactly.
He was the defensive coordinator. Now he's the head coach. I believe if the Cleveland Browns win that game, he's going to keep his job as head coach. And I believe that the way these guys are on a roll, and he's telling everybody who will listen, including his own team, this is a playoff game.
Absolutely.
And I think they're going to play it. So, you know, there's a good chance that Cleveland upsets the Ravens in Baltimore.
I think the hidden vigorish lies in the fact that John Dorsey, the GM, all right, it's like you said, if Greg Williams doesn't win, it gives him enough room to say, well, I'm going to go get my own guy.
Right.
But if Greg Williams wins, he's got to keep him.
Right.
So this is huge for Greg Williams. This is huge for all the people that are drinking his Kool-Aid right now. So it'll be interesting.
And the young guys first of all, the defense loves Greg Williams.
Right.
Those guys love him.
Yep.
And now the offensive guys are starting to love him too, and especially their quarterback Baker Mayfield. So it's going to be interesting. So remember, it's not over till the fat lady sings. And so we've got a game on Sunday, and the Ravens-Browns game is opposite us.
Yes,
so
at 4:25.
So if you got the red zone, make sure you have the picture-in-picture and watch it.
Was it not last year that the Ravens had to beat the Bengals?
Right, and they lost. Yeah. And Buffalo got in the playoffs.
As the little kid and the Angels in the outfield said,
it could happen.
hang in there. We'll see. Thanks for watching.